Alright John, welcome to Buckmore Park, round one of the Lightweight Sprint 2023 Club 100 series. So coming into the new season, I'm the number 5 now, single digit 5. Managed to get that last season by coming 5th in the championship, pretty happy with that. Managed to get a best result of 4th overall. So yeah, just looking to build on that this season, getting the top 3 would be nice, and then obviously a win is the aim. Warning for this video and for the following few rounds, I seem to be terrible at mounting the camera, so half of the races it's cut short because it's in the wrong position. But anyway, we are green into this first heat of the season, looking to find space wherever we can, starting 8th in the damp conditions. And there's cars everywhere in typical fashion for these races, including Dan Grocott, who spun in the middle of the track and gave me nowhere to go. So I have dropped down to the back apart from Dan, and now I've got insane traction and threw it down the inside of about 6 or 7 people, side by side with my mate Yusuf Sarajono here, going into the chicane, and we've managed to get ahead of him. So very interesting start to this race. We're trying to look right on the outside here, but we can't because there's a crash on the right. James Martin off and Matt Cochran's rejoining as well, so it's all kicking off 3 wide into this corner as I managed to get up the inside of 2 of them, and now I'm going to throw it down the inside of Garda as well. So a crazy first lap here. I managed to go down to 18th from 8th on the grid and then back up to 9th, so it actually only looks on the results from the lap scoring that I only lost 1 place on this lap, but actually I lost about 10 and then gained 9. So crazy position swapping, but that can happen in these races, and especially when it's damp, because there's just people flying everywhere because they don't know how much grip is available, especially when it's in between like this, because it's not fully wet at the moment, it's just damp. So you never know really how much grip there is, but I was feeling pretty confident in these conditions. I had a good practice. I think I was 2nd quickest in practice, so yeah, it was looking pretty good. And yeah, we're looking to move forward here. Not the best start of the season, to be honest, but I've got a cart off here, so hopefully another position, but no slot in behind. It's Kim Ely. She was actually leading the race before us, I think, so not ideal for her, but we are going to look to get a move on here, because in these races you do really need to be finishing in the top 3 every time to have any chance of getting high up in the finals. So we're going to have a look down the inside of Kim here. Can't quite do it into turn 1, but hairpin 1's always a good place, and we get sideways on the brakes and manage to get down the inside. Quite an enjoyable move, I must say, when I did it. But into position 8 now, seeing if we can gain as much time as possible here behind Andrew Rabbage. And you can see there that the line through the chicane actually wasn't that far off a dry line, but there's just not much grip on the circuit, so we are still quite a way off the dry times, as Rabbage is looking around the outside of George Lawler there. Can't quite do it, but he does get a lot better traction, and he's going to have the inside into Garda, and we're not quite close enough to follow him through, so we try to get the cut back, but George blocks us off there on the exit. So we're going to have to try and set up a move into the first corner now as we get a run down the start finish straight. Somebody getting a warning there, but we are chucking it down the inside of George. Everybody going for that wide line, but I'm trying to shorten the distance, and we block him off perfectly on the exit there and get the position. So up to, I believe it's about 7th now, and there's a lot of battling going off in front, so I've got promising I've got hope that we can move up the field still after this pretty shocking start to the season here. And there's contact in front, so 2 drivers off. We're going to have to cut the corner again for the 2nd time in this race. We've still got Nick Lukacsas down our inside. We try to hold it there, but just clipped the cone there. But we've still got him and Yusuf Bin Sahel down the inside, but we're going to hold it around the outside as they're too busy thinking about each other, and I'm going to get both of them there. So crazy race here actually. And yeah, so we're into 5th now, I think. Don't know how it's gone. It's been an absolute roller coaster, this race, to be fair. Being everywhere between 18th and 5th at some point. But yeah, we still want more. We're going to take every opportunity we can get. Running out of time now though, so we've got to get it done. Obviously these races are only 7 minutes, and when it's wet the lap's even longer, so I believe this race was only 7 laps, so really not much time, especially when you have a start like we did. But we are going to see how many places we can get regardless. As I say, I'm looking for the top 3 here, but the way this race started, that wasn't really in my mind at the start. I was just going full send, red mist, whatever you want to call it. And I think we've recovered very well here actually, considering the circumstances. We've got Andrew Rabbage, who's had a good race himself, to be fair, as I pick up a warning there, as you can probably see on the left, going down the start finish, and that was for clipping that cone when I was alongside Nicholas. And that was actually the first cone warning in lightweight sprint history. They'd only brought it in for this season because it used to be a 1-place penalty for the cone, for hitting the cones. And yeah, that was the first time it was ever a warning, and I got it, so that's a cool bit of history I've got there. Not exactly what you want for penalties, but it's not a penalty, it's a warning, so I'm pretty stoked about that. But anyway, we are getting a run on Andrew Rabbage there. Get a slight bit of understeer on the apex, easy to do in the wet, and we're going to try and get the cut back, stop it on the brakes. Beautifully done. Into P4. And unfortunately that is where we're going to stay, because my camera is starting to fall down, as I warned you about earlier. But we do only stay in 4th, so we don't miss any of the action anyway. So it's not a big deal. So yeah, I finished 4th, gained 4. I actually got the fastest lap of the race, so we're going to give that race an 8 out of 10. For the recovery mostly. Obviously I wanted to finish higher, but anyway, looking into Heat 2 now, and this is a much drier track, as there's obviously been a little bit of time between my first heat and now. Going into the first corner, starting in P12, ran the outside of a few there, so that was good. Behind James Martin here. And yeah, it's a little bit damp, but as Van Lambeth gets squeezed off the track there, and I'm trying to follow him down the inside, and there's this contact everywhere, and don't really know where we're going to end up. And the camera's already going up in the air, so that's not ideal. As I said, I was pretty rubbish at trying to set it up here. We are following Jeremy Deeks down the hill here, and we're going to try and pop one down the inside, and just about got the job done. But this race was pretty much dry everywhere except the first corner, and I must say I was quite struggling to adapt to the driving, because I just really didn't know whether it was dry or not, and it was quite a disappointing race really, as the camera is starting to take to the sky in beautiful fashion. But to be fair, every time it keeps going off view, it seems to be when nothing's happening, so I can't really complain about that too much, as Andrew Rabbage, you can just see there, going wide and clips the wall, and we get past him. But that was the only thing that happened for us in this race after that. We just couldn't keep the pace, and we had to finish 7th, which is really disappointing, as I give myself a 5 out of 10 for that race. I just couldn't adapt. Only P7, so it's not a great start to the season. Now this race, I'm starting on pole. It's Heat 3 for me, obviously Heat 10 overall. And I didn't actually have any GoPro footage for this one. I didn't put it on the car. I was struggling to get the hang of it. It's my first ever round having a GoPro. Anyway, we have got the Alpha Live footage, which is always great. I think it should be on every round. It's fantastic. It's a shame it's not on every single round, but it is for the season opener, as we've managed to hold the lead there. You can see that's me in the blue suit and blue and white helmet, and obviously the red number 5. But we are in the lead, and this race is actually fully dry now. as Ben Lambert gets spat off in the background there, but we're not too bothered about that. We are in the lead, unfortunate for Ben. But yeah, unfortunately, I still didn't quite have much pace in this. I've always struggled around Buckmore. I think it's because everybody, as you can see, I'm already going defensive from Bryn, Albin behind there. But everybody has always had a slight edge on me at the front of the field, because I feel like the amount that everyone has driven Buckmore is insane. Like, a lot of them live around here, and I've never managed to really catch up in terms of pace. I'm not too far off, but yeah, it's never been a massively strong track for me. But you'll see in this race, as I say, I'm in the lead, but I never managed to get a gap or anything. I'm always under attack, and Bryn's clearly got a lot of pace in this race. As he's right on the back of me here, I'm trying to break away the best I can, and I feel all right around the track, but yeah, everybody seems to always have a slight advantage on me at the front. But anyway, Bryn is all over me there. I was like, get a slightly better exit going down the hill, and we've got a bit of a gap to Dante and Steph behind, but that's going to end now because Bryn has thrown it down my inside. Fair play, good move. I've dropped down to second, but that has unfortunately completely destroyed the gap we had. And I don't blame Bryn because, as I say, he was clearly quicker than me, but yeah, now it's put me in a bit of a difficult position because Dante, who went on to win the A final of this round, is right behind me, and he's obviously clearly rapid. As you can see at the top of the screen, you get the fastest lap on that lap. And he's going to throw it down my inside. No messing about from Dante there, because I run a little bit wide, but slot back in. And yeah, so we're down to third from pole here, which isn't ideal, especially the way the day has gone so far. We want to be winning this race, really, to get some points back and a good position for the final. But it's not going our way so far, and we are down to P3, as I say. Dante now right on the back of Bryn, so that could be something that could get us back into it. Because Dante's obviously going to be wanting to look to battle with Bryn, as Bryn gets slightly sideways there, and Dante's going to have a little look down the inside, and there's a bit of contact and they're holding each other up, and I'm looking at this like, yes, this is going to get me back involved, and I'm just on the outside of Dante, but you cannot go and move at that corner around the outside unless you are ahead of the driver in front pretty much. So I'm still in third, but I'm thinking I've got a good chance here because they're battling. So if something goes wrong for them, I can capitalise. And Steph slightly falling off the back of us there, so that's looking all right. And I know Dante's going to want to get through, as I said, so I'm sticking with him. And Dante's car is absolutely insane. He's almost getting past him before the braking zone there, but not quite. But Dante, as I say, looking at him again, and Bryn's going slightly defensive there, so a couple of minutes left, as you can see in the top left. And Dante, once again, getting this insane run, and look at him down the hill, all over the back of Bryn. But Bryn's holding it well so far, and we're just sitting there waiting for something to happen. Bryn going super defensive now into Garda, and I am trying to get the cut back. And Dante's got a shot back over the curb there, and he's down the inside into the last corner, and I'm trying to follow him through. Around the outside, Bryn's squeezing me, fair enough. As I've decided to slot back in, it's not going to happen on the outside, but I do get a cut back into hairpin 1. And we are going to get P2 back, so that is massive for us there. So we go to defensive into hairpin 2 just to cover him off. And Dante's got a gap now, and I'm thinking I'm never catching that gap to a driver as good as Dante. So I'm thinking about second place now, and trying to at least have a go at catching Dante, but it's not going to happen because Bryn's throwing it straight back down my inside. I've had to go wide to not hit the cone. But Bryn has got the position, and now Steph is all over the back of us, so this race is really not going ideal. But I have to say it is very fun. because the battling is hard but fair, and I'm really enjoying myself despite it not going exactly my way. But Bryn is going defensive. As I say, the win's gone now. Dante's won. So it's all about second place with 1 minute to go. And I get a terrible run off the chicane there, and Steph throws it down my inside and somehow gets it done. And I've dropped behind Ashley White now. I'm down to 5th place. And at the time, I thought that was a bit of a crazy move. But to be fair, watching it back, I just could not get the run off of the hairpin there, and Steph was well within his rights. So yeah, good move from him, and this race is just going terribly for me. I was on pole position, I've dropped down to 5th place. We've got to be trying to get higher finishes than that, but they are still battling for 3rd there, Steph and Ashley. So we've maybe got a chance to have a bit of damage limitation. But this race, or this day in general, was just all about damage limitation. Like, it wasn't going my way, unfortunately, but that does happen in racing sometimes. It's a long season ahead anyway. As Dante is miles ahead and going to win this heat, as you can see from the footage. But everybody's having a right battle, and Ashley White doesn't go to the inside with Steph, so I chuck it up the inside and nick 4th on the last corner there, or the last proper corner anyway. So slight bit of damage limitation there, but still 4th place from pole position, so it's not great. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 just because it was quite a fun race to be in with all the battling. We were 3rd quickest in that race, but yeah, not ideal. As we're going to cut to the A final now. We are qualified in 12th place, which, as I say, it's not ideal. I've managed to qualify on pole for 1 A final at Wilton the season before, and my best result is 4th. But yeah, so we're not ideal for the start of the season, but anyway, we've got to get on with it. This green and the right hand side, as it always does at Buckmore, gets a way better start, and I'm getting pushed from the inside into Christian Woodgers. That's not ideal, so we've already lost loads of positions, but it's a long race as we're again getting pushed there, as James Martin's getting pushed and there's people in the barrier and everything's kicking off, and this is just what happens when you're in the midfield of the A final. There's just carnage kicking off left, right and centre. But we've managed to settle behind Andrew Ward now. And at least the first few corners are out of the way, so we can try and make up a few more places. As you can see, a bit more battling going off in front, so we've definitely got a chance to get involved. Andrew Ward trying to get the cut back. Bryn Album again in this race. It's all of us in a line here, plenty of warnings going out after all that contact, but that is just how these races start. Looking to see if we can get a move here, but there are people everywhere. As Andrew Ward's going to go down the inside of Ashley White, but he can't quite get the run there, so he has to back out, and actually caught me out there because I didn't expect him to brake. I thought he was going to let him go, but I suppose it was tightening up with the barrier. So that lost me a little bit of momentum. I think I've got people on the back of me now, so I'm having to go slightly defensive just to shoo them off going for a move. But it's fairly single file at the moment, just because everybody's in a train, so nobody wants to make a crazy move at the moment. A bit early in the race for that. But seeing if we can have a look down the inside. Andrew Ward completely misses his braking point there, and we get the move on him. Got the free position pretty much, but he's only lost a couple of places, so he will still feature in this race. No idea what position I'm in at the minute. Probably lost a few after the way the start went. But we are going to chuck it down the inside of Ashley White there, and there was a little bit of contact, so I wasn't sure how the stewards were going to view that, and I let him go and completely mess up the letting him go by giving a free position to Andrew Ward. So I suppose he gave me a position, so it was only right that I gave him one back. But no, again, another sign that this day just wasn't going ideally. From a personal perspective though, I have to say the racing and it was very fun to be part of. I was very torn coming out of this day because I really enjoyed myself, but it's just not the result I'm personally looking for. as there's a bit of argy-bargy going on up front, so we're looking at a few more positions, but the guys in the top few positions are just miles ahead now because we're all battling. As Andrew was going to have a look down the inside of Bryn Albin. I'm going to try and follow through, but he's on the inside now, so that's going to happen. Not going to happen. I switch to the inside, but can't get the run over the curb. So we are still here behind him. As Andrew again looking down the inside of Bryn, and we're actually going to get done by Luke Phillips and James Martin there, as they're all going side by side. But I'm going to get back on Luke Phillips, but I've got James Martin in my way. So Luke's still there. I tried to squeeze him to the inside, but he's still got the inside. So that's another few positions. And to be honest, I felt like this kart was slightly lacking in a straight line, as you could see how I lost the positions down the straight there. They were already on my right hand side. You can't really see that from the GoPro, but yeah, it's not ideal. So I'm having to go defensive again from somebody there. But yeah, more positions losing here. But I do sort of go to Buckmore now expecting everybody to be really quick. So I know I've got to stay out of these kind of battles to get a good result, and it didn't quite happen on this day. But it is round one of the season. There's plenty more opportunities and plenty of tracks that I could probably get a better result at. And also, as I say, you can't really complain too much when you're having all these great battles, as long as these results don't happen every single time. But single file at the moment in the race, probably about halfway through the final at the moment. Luke Phillips, in front of us, and you can see there again we're losing a little bit of time to Luke in a straight line, but we gain it back through the first corner as he got a little bit sideways, and we have now got a run on him. We're going to pop one down the inside of hairpin 2, pretty nicely judged, as we just avoided hitting Ashley White there. And Ashley White's car is not the best, as you can see down that hill. I mean, I was losing down the straight, but he was even losing to me. So yeah, it just happens sometimes. But anyway, we are going to try and move up the field, as we're in a slipstream now, so hopefully we can get a run. And we hit the power band there and absolutely fly down the inside. As I say, his kart was not looking the greatest, but yeah, these karts are used a lot, so it is not sort of always guaranteed that they'll be the fastest, but it evens out over the season, and it is a great fun day out, to be fair. But now, yeah, we are got a bit of breathing room. I think Ashley White and everybody started to battle behind, and we've got James Martin in front that we're trying to catch down, but not much time left in this final, really. James Martin runs a bit wide there, but we are sort of driving around on our own waiting for something else to happen, to be honest. And I think we're going to skip ahead here a little bit, as with not having anything really happen at the moment. Me and James Martin have managed to catch up to the pack now there, as they've been battling a little bit. So still a little bit of opportunity to gain a few more places back. I think that's Callum Martin, maybe, or Charlie Summers, sorry, in front of James Martin. Yeah, not quite able to move any others yet. As we are going down the hill and looking to see if there's a move, and slightly wide there from Charlie Summers, and we're going to help James Martin get down the inside and follow him through As we've still got Charlie on our inside there, and we're going to try and hold it around the outside into the last corner, and I'd give him as much room as I possibly could and get the move done. Had to go off track limits a little bit there, but no harm done, as we're just going to skip ahead to near the end of the race now, as we've got James Martin trying to have a battle with Stephen Westwood in front. They're getting quite feisty, slight bit of contact, slight, looking behind at each other, so I'm slightly wary of what's going to go on here as James Martin looks down the inside and Stephen commits to the corner, and there is contact and they both go flying off. So that's 2 free positions for me really, and that is pretty much where it ends up. So I'm in 13th position now. After all of that, we're still going to lose a position from the grid slot, but that is sort of the risk you have when you're on the outside in the mid-pack at Buckmore. You really need to be on the inside because the first lap is just guaranteed to have everything kicking off into the side of you if you're on the outside. But as I've said multiple times, I'm not too displeased because it was quite a fun race. The whole day really was fun racing. Apart from Heat 2, I didn't really enjoy that because I was on my own most of it, but that is where we're going to finish, in 13th here. So not an amazing race really, lost the position, 13th out of 74 overall, and it's a 6 out of 10. So that is the end of round 1. Thanks for watching, and next round will be at Shannington. Cheers.